security situation, the kidnapping issues, the bombings and the killings in some parts of the country. As a public affairs analyst and a former commissioner in Kano State, Mahmud Othman. Good to have you join us this morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much.
Well, were you surprised with the resumed, should I say, violence or hostilities in some parts of the country, specifically last Sunday?
Well, I think everything surprises us, but the situation has just gone almost completely out of control. Not only the one of last week, you had the Sokoto bombing, and here and there you have assassinations, you have kidnappings, you have armed robbery, things you cannot really explain. Now, when Nigerians talk of jumbo allocation in terms of security vote, Nigerians also forget, well, at least some of the people in uniform are not happy with the way the public and the media is talking about giving security or defense budget allocation of something about $1 trillion. But that is not even the correct information, because to the best of my knowledge, all the 774 local governments of Nigeria, all the 36 states, and Federal Capital Territory, if you know how much they contributed towards security, you add all that, if you monetize it and add it up to what federal government allocated, then the figure is staggering. All the jeeps you see around, all the Hilux, double cabin vehicles going about, a lot of gadgets, communication gadgets have been donated by governors. We saw them on television donating this into Inspector General of Police on behalf of the state command of their own. So all this, and where do they go to? Some of the weapons being used by these criminals are sourced from the police. They go and attack police station and take the guns and use the same guns on the same police and the public. And the only thing you hear is one commission of inquiry after the other, which really don't take us to anywhere. To the best of my knowledge, from Metesina in 1980, December 1980, up to this day, nobody was prosecuted in court successfully for terrorism or whatever. Now, I am not surprised, because the new chief judge of the Federation said there is no law on terrorism. Well, if there is no law on terrorism, there is definitely a law on arson, brigandage, killings, and so all sorts of things. So I don't know what is the problem.
Because this question you just asked is reminiscent of what we got from the SSS then almost 2 years ago. They get some of these people, they take them to law courts, as you rightly pointed out, and sometimes we're made to understand that maybe we don't have sufficient laws to try them, and they let them off. And they say, as you rightly said, that those in uniforms, they also complain, they are also Nigerians. If you walk, you go all out, and you get some of these people. We're not saying that they are guilty until proven by a law court, but I think it makes nonsense of the whole effort when sometimes you hear stories of insufficient laws, and you just observe that there are other provisions in the Constitution which these people can be brought to book.
Absolutely. Well, from the small incidents of what happened in Maiduguri back in 2009 to date, at that time probably it was consuming small people. But now when you wait until when a whole vice president's house is being attacked, already you lost your police headquarters of the whole country. SSS formations were attacked. Custom formations, immigration formations were attacked. First Infantry Mechanized Division in Kaduna was attacked. So what more do you wait for? And some militants came to Lagos Harbor or Lagos Port some 2 years ago, I think, or 3 years ago, and bombed a naval jetty and killed some naval officers and so on. So from top to bottom, I just don't understand. No Nigerian can understand what is going on. And all the statements we keep hearing is that we are being assured that one thing or the other. Or when they want to take lazy man's excuse, they say terrorism is worldwide. What has that got to do with us? What concerns us is what is happening in our own country. And there is no excuse whatsoever why people will keep telling us that Nigeria has porous borders. what is the big deal? What is the big deal about securing our borders if there is a will to do it? Because if you look at the Nigeria Republic of Benin border, from Porto Novo all the way to Parakou, all the way to where River Niger comes into Nigeria, that is Nigeria Benin border. From where River Niger comes into Nigeria, hits Nigeria, that's Gaya village, all the way to Lake Chad, that's the border with Nigeria. From Lake Chad down all the way, well, you have some 96 kilometers across Lake Chad, which is our Nigeria-Chad border. In those days, when Lake Chad was not bastardized, we didn't have a land border between Nigeria and Chad. But the lake has dried up. It is now a land border. Immediately you leave that one, all the way down to Atlantic Ocean, to Bakassi. That's Nigeria-Cameroon border. Now, I challenge any Nigerian, immediately after this program, to take a walk across any one of these borders I mentioned. Within 30 minutes, he will be picked up by either Beninois, Niger, Chad, or Cameroon security operatives. So if those small countries can take care of their own side, why do you just, out of laziness and incompetence, turn around to say we cannot police our own borders? And therefore, everybody can just walk in and do whatever they like.
Because a couple of times we've seen, Benga, we've seen how some of these people have been apprehended, some maybe trucks laden with explosives or weapon,
yes.
And sometimes they say they come through all of these borders, which we have all admitted that is porous. I still want to go back to the Channels Forum last October. It's almost another year here. And we talked about the borders and some of our ports, to the extent that some are apprehended, and we ask the questions, what about those that we never saw that finally got their way into the country? So in all of those borders that we share with some of these countries, if those can, or the other side can take care of their borders, what is it that we're not doing apart from incompetency that we have not been able to do well? Is it that of language or culture or religions? There must be something that we're taking for granted to the extent that we just allow the borders be the way they are.
Well, you have, when you have incompetent leadership, that one breeds indiscipline. And that indiscipline results into corruption. Corruption is all over. It's corruption without borders itself in Nigeria. And when you watch on television, arms are being displayed, caught, and sometimes the culprits are standing by the weapons apprehended, which they bring into the country. That's the end of the story. You will never find, or you will never hear when those people are taken to court. Now, these criminals have been emboldened. Either they know how to pay their way, or they know how weak we are as a people to take care of ourselves. They now even have the courage to come to our airports. You must have seen arms imported from South Africa, from China. They are caught at the airports. You see the exhibits, you see them there. What happened to those weapons? And what happened to the people themselves? Now, as you mentioned earlier, a lot of people are caught, and sometimes the security people take this pleasure of addressing a press conference to eulogize, to make it big, that they have made a big catch, that they will not leave any stone unturned. I have not seen a policeman holding any stone.